Welcome. Today's shiur is about sorting of non-foods on Shabbos. We learned already about sorting food matter on Shabbos and how it can be done in a permissible way. And the great poskim teach us that even non-foods are included in this prohibition. So we wanted to go over today how to sort non-foods on Shabbos. Each and every Shabbos, God gives us the greatest gift. God gives us a gift that's so great that probably people would be willing to pay thousands and thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars, or more, for such an experience. God says each and every week, for one day, I want to give you an experience of how it's going to be in Gan Eden. Imagine that. Imagine that we would have the opportunity, for whatever price, to experience one day's worth of Gan Eden. That's the experience that God gives us as a gift each and every Shabbos. So God says, in order to have this experience properly, you need to refrain from 39 activities. 39 prohibited activities that cannot be done in order that you have the experience properly. Very interestingly, specifically one of these activities is singled out by the great mystic, the Arizal. The Arizal lived approximately 450 years ago. He was from the greatest mystics of the holy city of Tzfas in Israel. And he says the following: the prohibited act of boirer, of sorting, cannot be done on Shabbos, because in the future, on the future level of Shabbos, on the future level of Gan Eden, there will not be any more sorting. And so because it's not going to be present then, when we have that experience each and every week now, we cannot sort. And the question is, why would the Arizal have singled out specifically the activity of boirer, of separating, of sorting foods or non-foods? Why would that be the activity that he singles out to tell us that's the one that's not going to be present in the future? We know that all of them really won't be necessary. Why did he single out this one activity? When the first man, Adam HaRishon, was originally in Gan Eden, God told him, you can eat from all the trees. Look around. Beautiful, beautiful trees, beautiful fruit. You can eat from each and every tree except from one. The one you can't eat from is called tree of knowledge. But not only that, when you look in the Torah, you'll see that it's defined with another few words. The tree of knowledge between good and bad. And so, the great mystic, the Arizal, teaches us, before Adam sinned, before the first man sinned, everything was just good. Everything Gan Eden was wonderful. He was given everything he needed. All of his needs were met. It was just an experience of the pleasure of Gan Eden. Obviously, he couldn't not fulfill what God was telling him. He couldn't commit a sin and go and eat from the forbidden tree. But otherwise, everything was good. Says the great mystic, the Arizal, when God told Adam not to eat from the forbidden tree, he meant that once you partake from the forbidden tree, bad will then come into the world. It's the tree of knowledge between good and bad. But before that, there's only good. Wonderful. Once you eat from that tree, the bad will then come to be mixed into your experience of the world. And that's what took place. When Adam partook of the fruit of the tree of knowledge between good and bad, tell us the Holy Sfarim that bad came into the world. It came into each and every situation. It came into each and every object. it even came into man himself. And so therefore, whereas in his natural state, man only wants to do good, we just want to experience good, today, man already has a sense of desiring even to do bad. Said God, okay, you ate from the tree, now you're going to have to fix what you did. You won't be able to be in Gan Eden anymore, because Gan Eden is the experience of only good. You have to go out there. You have to go out to the world. Be in the world of a mix of good and bad, and work your whole life to separate the bad from the good. Take the bad that now became mixed in, take it out of your experience. Take it out of your life. Once you take out all the bad and the good, only good is restored, then you'll be able to come back into Gan Eden. You'll be able to come back as will be in the future. So says the Arizal, what God was telling man is one of the main acts that you really have to do. All of the 39 prohibited activities that you're working at during the week, really focus around one. What's the one? Separating the bad from the good. That's what you have to do. Everything that you're doing is really all about that. All the activities that we engage in, what we're really trying to do is separate the bad that became mixed in our lives from the good, so that we can get back to the level of Gan Eden, so that we can get back to the level of Shabbos. So therefore, when a person's in a situation and they feel like getting angry at someone, how could he have done that to me? That's not the reaction we should have. Everything needs to be good, positive, in the right hour. When a person feels like he wants to show off, he's better than everyone else, that's not the right feeling to have. No one's really better. Everyone is equal. Everyone is good. When a person really is in touch with his reality, I am equal to my friend. I deserve good and my friend deserves good. When a person sees that whatever happens to him is from God, I don't have to get angry at the person. I should expect of him to do better, but I don't have to have any type of negative experiences. Then, when everything is in a balance, then we come back to the level of good in Gan Eden. Says the Arizal, the reason that we can't separate and sort the bad from the good on Shabbos, even nowadays, is because Shabbos is a little bit of a taste of what's going to be in the future. Shabbos is a one-day experience of Gan Eden. Shabbos is a taste of that level that we'll be at in the future. And so because in the future, everything is going to be fixed up, there's only going to be good in Gan Eden. So too, each and every Shabbos, there's only good in our lives. We don't separate the bad from the good. You can take the good. That's what we're supposed to experience. You don't separate the bad from the good on Shabbos. And so today what we wanted to talk about is the permissible way in halacha to separate non-foods on Shabbos. Come the great poskim and they say that just like we cannot separate the bad from the good in food items, so too we can't do it with non-food items. So whenever there's a mixture of non-food items, we can't take away what we don't want from what we do want. When we learned about separating food and how to separate it on Shabbos in the right way, we learned that there are 3 rules that a person has to be careful of. Once you're careful of these 3 rules, then you can do separation, because that's considered usage of an article, eating the food. It's considered a normal permissible activity. Only once we keep the 3 rules. The 3 rules we gave a little phrase to, so we should easily be able to remember it, and that was, God, I want your immediate hand. I want an immediate hand. Those words themselves represent the three rules. I want. Want means we can only take away what we want from what we don't want. It's a simple difference, but what's prohibited on Shabbos specifically is to take away what you don't want from what you do want. If you take away what you want, it's permissible. Secondly, immediate. The act needs to be done immediately prior to usage. So if I want to eat a food, I need to take what I do want immediately before eating. And the third rule, hand. It needs to be done with a person's hand, not with a specific utensil. So those three words, I want, an immediate, hand, really represent all the three rules. And those rules apply as well, even by non-food objects. So the first object that we wanted to go over today is clothing. Say the poskim, when you have a mix of clothing, a lot of different clothes, which is really considered a mix, you cannot take out what you don't want from what you do want. We need always to be careful to take out what we do want from what we don't want. And so therefore, come to your closet on Shabbos, you want to take out an article of clothing. If the clothes are tight pressed, that would be considered a mixture. Obviously, if you only have 2-3 items in a large closet and they're basically standing separately, that's not a problem. You could take out whatever you want. But if the clothes are pressed, that's considered a mixture. You might say, well, it's all one thing, it's all clothing. But say the poskim, since each article has a different usage, since each article is used for a different purpose, you have different sizes of clothing, you have different colors, you have different styles. Maybe the clothes that are together in one closet are for different people. They're considered a mix of objects. We cannot take out the ones that we don't want from the ones that we do want. So, let's say you go to the closet, you pull out 2 or 3 and you put them over your arm. You drape them over your arm, you want to use them later that day on Shabbos. And you see that one of them you really don't need. We cannot pull out the one that we don't need from the ones that we do need. Rather, we need to take out of the closet, we need to take out of the mix, specifically the ones that we do need. That's one example, a mixture of clothing. Another example might be a person just finished the laundry before Shabbos, comes Shabbos in the morning, and they want to get the kids dressed. They have a mix of clothes. There are socks, pants, shirts, everything is sort of in one big jumble. What we do during the week, we'd pull out what we don't need from what we do need. Can't do that on Shabbos. And so therefore, specifically on Shabbos, we'll always be careful to take what we do need away from what we don't need. Same thing could take place by shoes. A lot of times a person sees a jumble of shoes, it would be considered a mixture. Each pair of shoes is for a different purpose. We can't take out the shoes that we don't want to be left with the ones that we do want. We take out specifically the ones that we do want. A lot of times, sometimes, there's a mixture or a tangle of jewelry. Very thin chains get tangled in each other. Be careful not to take away the ones that we don't want. Rather, move away the ones that we do want from the ones that we don't want. So that's in regard to articles of clothing. Next thing we wanted to discuss that's very common is dishes. Person cleans up Friday night. They clean off all the dishes. They bring them to the kitchen. They put them in a stack. You have different plates. You have different sizes of plates. That whole stack is now considered a mixture. Comes later that Shabbos. There are some people who like to sort the dishes because it will be easier after Shabbos to wash them. So they take little plates, put them here, larger plates, put them there. Can't do that on Shabbos. That would be separating, not for immediate use. So if the dishes are in a stack, we can't sort them. What we did learn in the previous shir is whenever you have a mixture, you're allowed to take off of the top of the mixture. You're allowed to take off the top plate, put that where it needs to go, second plate, but you can't take out from the middle of the mixture what's not for use right now. So, a stack of dishes, same thing would go for a stack of svarim, a stack of books. You have a lot of books, or you take out a number of books to study. that Shabbos, and you see, well, one of them you really don't need. So you just pull it. Can't do that on Shabbos. We have to take the ones that we need away from the one that we don't need. The third items that we wanted to discuss today are items of leisure. A lot of times, people come over on Shabbos, they visit each other, they want to show each other photographs. They went on a trip recently, I want to show them some pictures, maybe they made a wedding in the family. So you go to the back room to get some pictures, and here it is, you have a few pictures, and then you just notice, before you bring it out to the guests, oh, I don't look so good in this one. Let me try and take that one out. Can't do it. Can't do it. What we have to do is organize the pictures in such a way you take the ones that you do want to show the guest out of the pile, not the one that you don't want. And the last thing that we wanted to go over, a lot of times people play games on Shabbos. You have game pieces. Very common that the game pieces get all mixed together, especially at the end of the game. So here they are, all the game pieces mixed together. You want to put away the game. It would be prohibited to sort out the pieces. This color, this side, one side, another side. What you can do is you can disassemble the mixture, as we learned. You can just strew them around so that they're not really mixed, and then take each one that you need. Or you can just take whichever one comes to your hand and put that in the right place. But to separate them would be wrong. These are really very small differences in terms of movement of hands, but it makes all the difference in the world in regard to the acts on Shabbos. God tells us, do not do any one of the 39 prohibited acts on Shabbos in order that you be able to experience the special experience that I give you every week. And so we need to be careful of these things. We need to learn the subtleties in how we move our hands or what we're thinking about in order to do it right on Shabbos. It's not so hard. It requires a little review, getting used to. It's not very hard at all. And when we fulfill being careful of all 39 prohibited activities, we'll be able to have that special experience each and every Shabbos. May God help. And we merit to do everything that we're supposed to do in our lives, separating all of that bad that came into the world and remain with only the good, so that we be able to merit the level of Shabbos that's going to be in the future, the level of Gan Eden that God gives us as a gift each and every week.